and welcome to another Royal Rumble review. Today we're talking about one of my favorite Royal Rumbles as a kid, just like 94 was, in 1995. This takes place in Florida and, of course, is met with the celebrity star appearance of one very famous at the time, Pamela Anderson. She would guest host the winner of this year's Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 11's main event. Well, as we learned, co-main event. Thanks, Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam. Shawn Diesel would be the main event because Shawn Michaels would enter number one and eliminate the number two entrant, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, as the first two entrants would be the last two entrants. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about how the Royal Rumble 1995 came to be. As we said, it took place in 1995 in Florida on January the 22nd. Took place in Tampa, Florida, in front of 10,000 fans. This was the eighth annual Royal Rumble event. Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler did commentary. I thought that was an underrated tandem, those two. The day after the Rumble, the 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly faced the Smoking Guns. The Guns won that match and the Tag Team Championship by losing the belt one day. The Kid and Holly tied what was, for a record, shortest tag team reign in history to that point. The event was attended by 10,000 fans, as mentioned, and which is approximately the maximum capacity of the USF Sundome. The attendance figures was down from last year's event of 14,500, but up from the following year, or 9,600 for Royal Rumble 96. From ticket sales, the WWF gained 140,000. Again, this was lower than 94, but higher than 96. The pay-per-view buy rate of 1.0, however, is higher than 1994, but 0.1 higher than 1996, when that was when the 96 one was 1.1. So, if you're not much into numbers, that part's over. If you're into numbers, it's kind of interesting. Opening contest, Jeff Jarrett and the Razor Ramon. Well, it wasn't actually the opening contest. The dark match happened before the pay-per-view event took place. Buck Quartertame, I think that's how you say his name, Buck Quartertame, defeated the Brooklyn Brawler, the jobber of all jobbers, before the pay-per-view event started. So, 2 straight years, Razor Ramon is in an IC title match here, and Razor Ramon faces Jeff Jarrett. And this was a great match. One of the best openers. Probably the best Royal Rumble opener for the pay-per-view since 1991's match of the Orient Express and the Rockers match, I should say. Jarrett and Ramon had great chemistry. This is probably the best match they ever had. It stopped halfway in between due to a countout or a disqualification. I could get a little bit more clarification as I read it, but they kept it going, and I'm glad because the pacing was just great. There was a lot of great sequences where Double J would hit a quick drop kick and there'd be a near fall onto a backslide, into another side headlock takedown. Just really crisp athletic moves taking place all over the ringside area between Double J and Razor Ramon. So what happened was the roadie took the leg out of Razor Ramon on the outside, and he was down while the official counted out. And Jeff Jarrett got on the mic saying he wanted the title, not to win by countout. So they came back in the ring, and it ended up being the roadie helping Jarrett to the win. And at 18:03, he got the victory over Razor Ramon with a small package, and we have a new IC champion in Jeff Jarrett. So I rated this 4 stars back when I reviewed it. Now that I rewatched that match, it might be a little bit high, but I'll keep it 4 stars. That was a great match. I really appreciate that one. Next, we had IRS Mike Rotunda against The Undertaker, who had Paul Bearer with him, and it should be noted that Ted DiBiase was with Irwin R. Shyster. Two of the best managers ever at ringside. Vince puts over IRS's technical skills, and it was a rather slow match because this is with the time when the Undertaker moved around and worked like a zombie, and IRS he liked his chin locks, let's just say, and he wasn't really that versatile in the WWF run. Not like when he was one of those amateur wrestlers gimmick in WCW or the late NWA when he went by his real name. I put this rating at a half a star. Something messed up with Paul Bearer's urn during this match. A lot of members of the $1 Million Corporation came out. King Kong Bundy, for instance. It was just kind of a clusterfuck. So half a star for that match. The next match is one of the greatest title matches in Royal Rumble history, and that is Diesel against Bret Hart. These guys had great matches at King of the Ring 94, Survivor Series 95. This one was in the middle. They also had a good match in the cage in your house at February 96. But this match was the middle one for the trilogy. And this one is up there with Survivor Series as the best. There was a couple of spots in the match, obviously, with Owen Hart or Bob Backlund trying to get the best out of Diesel or Bret. But when this match was going, Bret working the big man's legs is just so expertly. He's the excellence of execution for that reason. Diesel just remembered his spots and sold the leg work beautifully. This was just such a great match. I wrote paragraph after paragraph about this match because it was quite long too. In fact, it was just 2 hours or 2 hours. It was just 2 minutes and 42 seconds short of a half an hour. It ended at 27:18, and yeah, I put this 4.5 stars. Definitely going to keep that rating. 4.5 stars for this match seems fair, and yeah, so Bret Hart retained the title, and these two would meet again at Survivor Series when Diesel was the champion, and Bret would obviously have a the have the what's it called? I try to think underhook. No, the roll up pitting combination Bret did at Survivor Series. Um, I should correct myself though. It wasn't Bret that retained the title. Diesel was champion here. Diesel was champion for about a month. It's hard to remember because Diesel won the belt at a house show from Bob Backlund right after Bret beat him, but that was later in the year. And yeah, I'm getting my time frame mixed up. Go back to the review. Diesel was champion, and he retained the title because it ended in a draw. Yeah, too much interference at the end. It ended in a draw. So that's how that match ended. Sorry for the confusion, everyone. Doing this in one take, and I'm still brand new to this review style. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not. So it's gonna take me a little bit. Don't have the fancy equipment like I like to say, but I'm really good with wrestling knowledge, and I'm hoping that can translate into in an articulate way over to you. Bob Sparkplug Holly and the 123 Kid versus Tatanka and Bam Bam of the $1 Million Corporation for the tag titles. And this is a great match. It's an underrated match. And both these teams really hit it off. I give it 3 stars and a quarter. And this is right before the Bam Bam LT build-up, where LT was laughing at Bam Bam and Bam Bam pushed him down. Either way, the match itself ended as the 123 Kid won the tag titles at 15:45 when he managed to put his arm over and knocked out Bam Bam Bigelow. So Bam Bam went for a moonsault off the top rope, and Tatanka hit the side ropes, knocking him off the top rope. And that's when Bob Holly grabbed the 123 Kid and put him on top of Bam Bam. And at 15:45, they became the champions. All right, it's time for Pamela Anderson and the Rumble main event. It's hard not to look away from her in 1995. She was in her prime. Let's just say that. This Royal Rumble gets a lot of criticism due to how short it is or the roster itself. I put in bold on my review I wrote a decade ago. I put in bold the guys that I thought could be credible to win the match. And my God, I have 4 people in bold. Shawn Michaels, the British Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Lex Luger. You could argue maybe King Kong Bundy, but not really for this time. And maybe Bob Backlund, since he was champion, but not really for this time. Everyone else is a mid-carder to lower mid-card to jobber. That was probably the number one reason they decided to speed up the entrance, because if this dragged out, this would be the worst Royal Rumble match in history. As far as the match, not the pay-per-view, the match. People still say it is worst in history, but I will say it's up there for second worst. No Rumble match is worse than 1999. If you think I'm wrong just because it's the Attitude Era, go back and watch 1999 again. it was built around Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, and that's great because that was a big storyline. But the actual Rumble match itself does not get any worse than 1999. Maybe there's one in recent years I haven't seen recently. If you're going to look at the first 20 Royal Rumbles, it does not get any worse in the ring than 1999. I can say that with honest, because this match, they kept it short and it was rather entertaining. It was only half an hour long. Like I said at the beginning, what happened with Shawn Michaels and the Bulldog. Uh, Overall, there wasn't too much action in between to mention, really. It really wasn't, because I listed all the people. Let me list for you the names. I'll do that much for this review. So Shawn Michaels, the British Bulldog, Eli Blue, Duke the Dumpster Droese, Jimmy Del Rey of the Heavenly Bodies, Sonny, Tom Pritchard, Doink the Clown, Quang, Savio Vega, Rick Martel, Owen Hart, Timothy Wells, Luke Williams, Jacob Blue, King Kong Bundy, Mo, Mabel, Miller, Lex, the Mantar, Aldo Montoya, Henry Godwin, Billy Gunn, Bart Gunn, Bob Backlund, Stephen Dunn, Dick Murdoch, Adam Bomb, Fatu, and Crush. Holy shit. And people, yeah, I wonder why they call this one of the worst Rumbles of all time. The pay-per-view, anyway. The match, not the pay-per-view. Second worst. I gave the event a 7 out of 10 just because the under probably the best. Yeah, between the tag team title match, the IC title match, the WWF title match, the undercard was excellent. And the Rumble itself, it was kept short and had an iconic ending. So this Rumble event gets a 7 out of 10 for me. I'm interested to hear what you guys think of this Rumble event. Touch down in the comments, and please hit like and subscribe and help me get this thing off the floor. That would be excellent. I would really appreciate that. All right, well, as we continue to go down the Royal Rumbles, we'll continue that and we'll get into WrestleManias. But as for now, let's talk Wrestling 101, the Macho Man Bandwagon. I don't know what I'm going to name this channel. I'm thinking Macho Bandwagon because it goes on and on and on. But you can only change your YouTube name twice in 2 weeks, so I think I've already done that. So for now, it's like Wrestling 101. I might keep that. We'll see. Maybe comment in the comment section what username you like better. So it's either going to be Macho Bandwagon or Let's Talk Wrestling 101. Thanks for the time, guys. We'll see you in the next review.